So today we're talking about motivation cycles and why most people don't end up following through on their goals or ambitions. You're not lazy, you're not an inconsistent person. I mean, speaking generally here, not to every single person. But the truth is that's how our brain works, and that's how the motivation cycles actually work. So let's get into it. There are 4 predictable stages to motivation: the spark, momentum, the dip, and the reset. And it leads back to spark. The spark is the new year, new me motivation. It's when you feel super jazzed about something that you're starting, and you're setting goals that make you feel excited. The brain is most motivated when you're in anticipation or expecting something good. That's not fake, that's your brain releasing dopamine. Who doesn't love this sound? So in the spark phase, everything feels brilliant and alive. So then we go into momentum, and this is when you are actually doing the thing. You feel capable and proud, and you should. You're building evidence that this is actually what you want to do and that it matters to you. Your brain is saying, I've totally got this. I'm actually doing it. And for a brief moment in time, you think that you can do this forever. You've got the whole system figured out. And you're still feeling pretty passionate about it. Even on the hard days, you're still pushing through, so you feel very capable. And then, my friend, comes the dip. Bottom of the cyclical cycle, right? The dip. You're at your lowest, the danger zone. It's not that anything is wrong, it's just that your brain is wired in this way. So essentially, once something becomes predictable, then the dopamine drops. You could probably relate this to relationships you've been in, jobs you've had, where you were really excited to have the job, and then all of a sudden 6 months in, you're like, do I even want to do this anymore? We all have those moments where we feel the dip. And your brain is saying things like, who cares? You can do this later. I'm just going to scroll TikTok for a little bit. Raise your hand. It suckered me in. I didn't even get on TikTok ever. I was an Instagram person. And now we all fall into it. What you need to know is that this is not a flaw in your character. This is your biology. So what do we do about the dip? What we do is we reset. We need to bring ourselves out of the dip, reset like a beautiful little comet slinging around Earth's gravity and back out into the universe of possibilities. But how do you do that? I'll tell you. Some easy ways to do that are by adding novelty, and I'll get deeper into this in just a second, so hang tight. Shifting your approach, or adjusting your system. What is that quote? You don't rise to the level of your ambition, you fall to the level of your systems. I think Bill Gates said that. It's so true. By the way, thanks, friend. Where were we? Yes, once you are in the dip, you need to go ahead and do the reset so that you can sling yourself back into the spark. And I'll show you why this works and how to do it. But first, let's talk about how each one of these sections of the cycle actually feels emotionally. So the spark feels engaging, exciting, very new, almost like when your brain is flooding yourself with dopamine when you're in love, right? It's the same when you come up with a new idea or when you start a new goal. Your brain floods itself with dopamine, so you feel really good. Excitement, possibility, inspiration. Momentum also feels good. You feel a sense of pride. You feel really clear and confident in your decision to start down this path. You feel like you're taking strides and you're seeing progress. You might even start seeing really good results or the beginnings of really good results. So you're motivated. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't feel so motivating. You have a couple of hard days, you work through that, you go through these waves of momentum, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like you have a down day. And then you might have another momentous day, but then you have another down day. And it starts to feel like maybe your dip days are hanging out a little bit too long. This is your note to self. You're entering the dip phase, so prepare. And I'll show you how to do that next. This is when we reset. The reset is gonna feel like you can actually breathe again after you get out of the dip. You're gonna feel progress. You're gonna feel that reconfirmation. You're gonna feel relief and renewed energy start to seep back in. Every once in a while, you'll catch a good wave and you'll shoot yourself right from the dip back into spark. This is where you're building confidence. Momentum, definitely building confidence, but that's on the exit of the spark. The reset is where you build confidence coming out of the dip. So that one seeps a little bit deeper in us and stays with us longer. So don't skip the reset. I keep talking to you guys and not peeling carrots. Start to notice when your cycles happen. So for some things for me, my dip will come in like 3 weeks. It's really a fast cycle. For instance, working out. I'll do really, really good for 3 weeks. Then I skip a couple of days. And then I feel like, well, do I really want to do this? Of course I do. I've reaffirmed it millions of times. I just need to get through the dip. Again, I'm yapping and not peeling carrots. So essentially we all have a rhythm and probably different rhythms for the different tasks that you're trying to do or the different goals that you set. And most people never think to themselves, oh, this might be just my cycle and I just need a little quick reset to get remotivated. Sadly, most people end up quitting when they hit the dip because you start to feel like I'm a failure or this is too hard. It's not really worth it. I'm not really worth it. That's a hard one. But really, nothing's truly wrong. The motivation just shifted because your brain is smart and it gets bored really easy. So how do you actually follow through then? You create a reset list to set yourself up to get out of the dip. First of all, recognize when the dip is happening and then have this reset list ready to go at arm's length so that you can refer to it quickly and spin yourself out of it. The first thing in your reset list that you're going to ask yourself is, how does my dip start to show up? Do you get really irritable? Do you stop planning daily? Do you feel heavy or more tired? Do you feel like everything is pointless, uninspired, overwhelmed? Do you scroll more? I might have already said that one. Then, once you get a list of how you notice your dip starting to show up in your life, then you want to write down all the ways that you feel like you reset yourself. A 10-minute tidy up can do a lot to clear out your brain and give you the space to feel like you can accomplish more because your space isn't encroaching in on your mind. For instance, I can't start anything in my kitchen if it's not already clean. Looks cluttered. This is what I'm using right now. This is a no judgment zone, by the way. Start with a 5-minute task. What that does is it creates the snowball effect where you start with the smallest thing and then before you know it, you've accomplished the big tasks. And writing these two things down, so how does your dip show up and what are the things that would feel like a reset to you? Have the quick tasks that can reset you if you're just barely feeling the dip. Have the medium tasks where you're like, I'm in the dip, I'm in the thick of it. And then have the heavy duty hitters where you're like, this is a full reset. I need to reevaluate. I know what matters to me still matters to me, but I need a hardcore reset. Have some in each category. This will become your kind of emergency kit for your motivation cycle. If you're feeling overwhelmed, for instance, when I'm feeling super, super overwhelmed, it's usually because I didn't break that goal down in tiny enough steps. Oftentimes it just feels too big to start that task. You want to break it down into further tasks, kind of like that short reset list. Those are the quick tasks that you can get done and get reset really fast. When you're feeling fatigued or burnt out, those would probably fall in more of the like medium to long resets, give yourself permission to rest. Raise your hand if you're notorious for working until you collapse, for burning yourself out. Maybe it's time for you to take a tiny step back, reset, and the biggest key is don't quit. This is not your opportunity to quit on yourself. This is your opportunity to listen to what your body and your mind is telling you and actually rest. That's one of those things that I'm telling me as well as telling you. Note to self. Key things you need to remember in the cycle of motivation. The dip is not failure, it's biology. The dip is part of the cycle. When the dip shows up, you don't quit, you just reset and rest. And you start to get curious by asking yourself, what do I need right now? How can I make this easier on myself? Sometimes that's asking for help. Ugh, I know, I hate it too, but do it anyway. And what could re-energize this whole thing? This is how you create consistency without fighting yourself. One more thing, I spoke about this yesterday. We tend to follow through when our actions align with our identity. So if you're struggling with like what your goals should be or why you can't stay consistent in the first place, or why your dips are way longer than any other part of the cycle, go back to your identity and really get clear about what your goals are and how can you align your identity around somebody who has and achieves those goals. Instead of saying things like, I need to stay motivated, say, I'm someone who honors my energy. Ugh, I need to write that one on my mirror. Say things like, I am someone who resets, not quits. I reset and I do not shame myself. And I adjust instead of abandon ship. It's kinder, it's smarter, and it works. So put in the comments some other phrases that we can all use to be kinder to ourselves and realign our actions to our identity. Let's help each other out with that. And for today's free download, I put together your reset list for you and a cycle-based planning page. Print it, put it in your planner. You'll know exactly when you need to bust that thing out, and you'll know exactly what to do when your motivation cycle starts to hit the dip. I will see you tomorrow for some more end of year wrap up motivation style stuff.